The New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens have been linked in trade talks that have been speculated for the last few days. We're going to discuss the rumors and give you my opinion, and that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel and you like keeping up with all the latest hockey news, trade buzz, stats, and analysis, hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss any future videos. Alright, so diving into today's topic, we're going to take a look at some trade rumors surrounding the Habs and the Rangers. I know in watching some of the recent games involving the Habs, Rangers, Sens, even the Golden Knights, Islanders to an extent, there's been a lot of scouting going on, so there's definitely something brewing in the NHL. And there could be multiple moves made here, I think, in the next couple of weeks. But for right now, we're going to discuss the Habs and the Rangers and some speculation that's been going on because they seem to be watching each other quite closely. So according to news reports, the speculation is that the Rangers have keen interest on a couple of the Habs forwards, primarily Alex Galchenyuk and secondly, Andrew Shaw. It seems like they're quite interested in both and are currently kind of doing what they'd call their due diligence to kind of research and see the forwards play up close to see if they might be a good fit for their team. Obviously, lately, the Habs have been a little bit hot and cold. They've come off a big win against the Senators, 8-3, and then followed that up with a 6-3 loss to Minnesota. At times, though, Galchenyuk has looked a little bit better, so maybe his trade value has gone up a little bit, but overall, you can't help but wonder exactly what the offer would be from the Rangers if they did want to inquire on Galchenyuk. Although Andrew Shaw's been an interest to them as well. They really like the fact that he's a kind of a grittier forward, willing to pay the price, go in the corners. They seem to like that kind of player. It's something that might be missing on their roster right now. So I was kind of interested to see what they might be offering up. Now, there's lots of speculation in New York that they obviously have acknowledged that they need to do something, that they're obviously the current roster just isn't working. As I've speculated in other videos, I wouldn't be surprised if Alain Vigneault was on the hot seat right now, and if they continue to lose, maybe he could be looking to be dismissed. They did pull off a big overtime victory against Tampa Bay last night, which will probably help his cause and stick around a little bit longer, especially not only winning, but winning against such a top team. Obviously they need to make moves here. And with the Habs and Rangers both being near the bottom of the standings, it's not surprising that they're both looking to do something. And to be honest, I'm not really surprised they're looking to do something together because they probably both have some pieces that might be of interest to each other. So I guess if you look at the Rangers and look at what might be going out to satisfy a deal to bring in a guy like Galchenyuk or Shaw, if this type of move actually happens, according to reports, and this is from multiple sources, they would be more than willing to probably trade Chris Kreider, apparently Matt Zuccarello, even Ryan McDonagh apparently isn't off limits. Another forward mentioned on the Rangers' part that they might be willing to move would be JT Miller. He may be appealing to a variety of teams just because of his versatility and the fact that he can play up and down your lineup in multiple spots. But I'm not sure that's something that would appeal to the Habs. I mean, obviously he could be possibly included in the right move depending on how things go. But certainly an interesting thought would be, obviously Ryan McDonagh, as everybody knows, is probably one of the worst trades the Habs have ever made. McDonagh was drafted by the Habs and ended up playing for New York instead through a trade, and the Habs really didn't get anything in return. So, interested to hear his name out there. It's a little bit surprising. Obviously, nothing here is set in stone. Doesn't mean any of this is going to happen. But of all the players on the Rangers roster, I'm a little bit surprised to hear his name in trade talks. However, when teams get into a position like this, they kind of acknowledge the fact that they might have to kind of retool here and not necessarily go into a rebuild. But when you have enough assets like they do, struggling assets, mind you, if they can swap players with other teams, they just might be able to get themselves into a position where maybe a fresh start for a player or two, gives each team a boost. So certainly would be interesting to see if the Rangers and Habs pull off a trade. I would be quite interested to see McDonagh go to Montreal. I think he'd be great for the Habs. Not sure that the Rangers are really going to part with him. Of course, you can't believe all the rumors, and then there's just that until they happen, rumors. But obviously there must be something to it if his name is being mentioned in media reports, but hard to say how legit that is. I guess time will tell. But what kind of trade do you think the Habs and the Rangers could pull off? Leave me a comment down below if you're a fan of either team and you think that the other team would be a good trading partner. Maybe give me some suggestions on what you think could happen. I mean, certainly another report out there linking these two teams with the Rangers had their eye on Max Pacioretty, and that they would love to get their hands on Pacioretty and to do what they had to get him out of Montreal. Personally, that's a little bit surprising. I mean, at the same time, it is and it isn't. It's not surprising because Pacioretty's had such a long history of being a top goal scorer. He's got a very good contract. So if these two teams hooked up for a trade, it's hard to say exactly what it would look like. If Ryan McDonagh was involved, I'd be a little bit surprised because, as we know, the Rangers' defense hasn't been fantastic this year. And if you take him out of the mix, you're going to have to get a fairly good defenseman in return. And I'm just not sure that the Habs have that type of player. Now, it doesn't mean that they couldn't facilitate that need through another move. But at the same time, unless they had something else lined up where they knew they had another piece coming back that could help their blue line, I just don't see him being involved in a package. At the same time, though, I wouldn't be completely shocked. Chris Kreider's been very inconsistent. You know, at times he's proven to be a great player, but doesn't seem to use his speed and that big frame of his very often to his full ability. I think that's probably frustrated Rangers fans over the years, is the inconsistency. Zuccarello, I think, would be a good fit for a lot of teams as well. And so from the Habs' point of view, obviously, in my opinion, I think they could really use another defenseman back there that can move the puck. I don't think their defense is really all that strong. And I think that one of the main reasons is that they don't have enough guys back there who are mobile that can move the puck well. Obviously, we've seen youngster Victor Mete step in and do fairly well, considering, yes, he's made some mistakes. But considering how young he is and inexperienced, I think he's done well, and I don't think their expectations really need to be any higher. I think, giving him some more coaching and seasoning, I think, as time goes on, I think has a pretty good likelihood of developing into a pretty decent defenseman for them. So at the same time, though, they have shown lately that they can put the puck in the net a little bit more, but they're still inconsistent. You see a great game where they beat the Sens 8-3, but then they lose 6-3. Now, scoring 3 goals in the game, based on previous statistics last year and the last few years, a lot of times 3 goals would win you a game. But when you're getting bad goaltending, obviously that's not going to be enough. And scoring has been up this year so far. So obviously, a lot of nights 3 goals isn't enough to win. So they certainly could use some more consistency with their offense. So I think that they, as I've been mentioning in many videos, the Habs need a center iceman. So I'm not sure that there's a perfect fit there with the Rangers, but at the same time, they do need to make a move. Now, the Habs Rangers could turn out to be a very minor move, or maybe there's no move at all. It's hard to say. This is all just speculation based on news reports, but it is certainly clear that they've both been scouting each other quite a bit, and that there might be something brewing with these two teams. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Also, make sure you leave some comments down below to let me know what you think of these rumors. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button in the middle of your screen so you don't miss any future videos. And keep watching Top Shelf Talk.